We all have assumptions about what is worthy of honor or shame. We suppose that certain people and actions are praiseworthy while others are not. I might not even realize that I have an honor-shame perspective until someone questions me. We are sometimes surprised to hear that people in other families or cultures think differently than us. People are often puzzled, even appalled, when they learn about honor suicides in Japanese cultures. But many Japanese view suicide as a proper behavior. It is seen as a means of atonement. In 2001, a former judo gold medalist committed suicide because of the financial failures of the company he led as CEO. In 2015, a Japanese engineer killed himself as a way of taking responsibility for a collapsed bridge that he had worked on. If we don't understand our assumptions about honor and shame, it can prove fatal. Most of us don't have entirely flawed views of honor and shame. However, we likely all have very limited perspectives about how honor and shame influence our lives. In this video, we take a look at some common ways that people think about these subjects. In this way, we will better understand what we want God to transform. Here's Jackson Wu to explain.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, hospitals competed to secure ventilators and personal protective equipment. Grocery stores ran out of certain foods and cleaning supplies, and even toilet paper. Shoppers feared scarcity. There is a limited supply of various goods. Therefore, people begin to think, if you have this or that product, that means that I don't. This kind of thinking is prominent in many places where honor and shame are important. Many people compare honor, praise, and respect to money. Honor and esteem are like social currency. And we all know that money does not grow on trees. If you have a lot of money, that means there's less for others. If you win, then I lose. In a similar way, people see public honor as a scarce resource. If the crowd is praising you, they are not praising me. This win-lose thinking plays out in social media every day. How does this thinking impact our lives? We compete for honor, public attention, and status. The fastest way to win this competition is often to simply go negative on others, dispensing criticism, gossip, and withholding praise. We engage in various shame tactics. Public shaming is costly. Whereas honor feels like a limited good, it seems that shame is in infinite supply. In the struggle to rise in social status, we can find ourselves sinking further down into the quicksand of shame. In 1994, two U.S. figure skaters, Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding, competed for a chance to skate at the Winter Olympics. Only 3 skaters would represent the United States at the Games. Kerrigan grew up in a close-knit, idealistic family. By contrast, Harding came from a broken home and a difficult childhood. Jealousy won out. At a practice for the U.S. Championship, Harding's former husband hired a hitman to injure Nancy Kerrigan so that she could not beat Harding for the chance to compete in the Olympics. When the truth was revealed, Harding's competition for honor resulted in enduring shame. She was stripped of her championship medal and banned from the sport. Honor and shame can make us feel either vulnerable or powerful. People who suffer shame feel vulnerable. Those who enjoy high social standing are people with power. We know this intuitively. This is why we all seek to win the safety of public esteem, while avoiding shame as though it were a contagious virus. So, we use different strategies. We try to achieve honor by earning good grades and working hard for promotions. Or, our actions can lead to disgrace, especially if we do something immoral. Honor and shame are also dependent on relationships and are inherited. Having a famous family name or a high position in a company will automatically give us respect. In some places, being born as a woman or with a different skin color can lead to being belittled, insulted, or mocked. A peculiar dynamic exists between men and women in conservative cultural contexts. Broadly speaking, a man has the ability to achieve honor, but his status is always threatened by the women in his life. By their actions, he could suffer social shame. This causes a man to feel vulnerable and feel like he must take precautionary steps to protect himself. At the same time, women have limited options for achieving social standing. Men enjoy greater access to education and jobs. While social advancement is beyond their control, women are expected to guard against bringing shame on the men and their families. Avoiding the negative outcome of shame is within their control, or so people believe. Put simply, women can achieve shame but not honor. They can feel a sense of futility. In this circumstance, both men and women feel vulnerable. Women have the power to cause the shame that men fear. Because of this perceived danger, men take physical and political measures to guard themselves by stripping women of their ability to make decisions on their own. This often comes in the form of violence. One writer summarizes the experience of many women. A girl's fertility and reproductive capacity is owned by her family, not by the girl herself. If a girl is even seen as damaged goods, her family of origin will be responsible for her care for the rest of her life. This is a killing offense. Her virginity belongs to her family and is a token of their honor. If she is not a virgin, the shame belongs to her family, and they must cleanse themselves of it with blood, her blood. The writer continues, imagine growing up in a family where you are closely monitored, harassed, perhaps even beaten daily, threatened with death if you are seen talking to a boy or if your veil has slipped. Becoming too westernized, wanting to choose one's own spouse, refusing to marry a first cousin, daring to have infidel friends, or allegedly engaging in sex outside of marriage are all killing offenses. From a tribal point of view, this shame and honor code does enforce social stability, but at the price of individual rights and personal freedom. Now, this view of women leads to so-called honor killings. This is not merely a dynamic within Islam. In 2017, an Israeli Christian man stabbed his daughter 3 times because she planned to convert to Islam in order to marry her Muslim boyfriend.
What do people do when they see honor as a limited good and feel threatened by others? They defend their honor. If shame is like a virus, then it must be eliminated. In England, this used to take the form of dueling. In some countries today, Men think they are protecting their honor and killing wives and daughters who are seen in their society as having shamed the family. Perhaps a girl was accused of flirting with a boy, or a woman was raped. Whatever the case, these men feel the need to purify their families from the perception of social shame. The Bible challenges many of these ideas about honor and shame. It replaces our assumptions. Christ reorients our view of power and our response to it. In short, we undermine power not by defending our honor, but by redefining it. The Bible, and especially the life of Jesus, calls us to redefine what we think is honorable and shameful. When we do, we need not defend ourselves from the criticism and attacks of those who are outside God's family. This redefinition, this change in perspective, will be the topic of the upcoming videos.